Well, good morning, everybody. Ngā te Mārie, welcome. If I could just kick the meeting off, that would be much appreciated if I had everybody's attention. Dale Marie, could I ask you to open us with a karakia this morning, please?
Kia ora tātou I te tūtahi. He mihi ki tō tātou ki te iwi Ngāti Unu, Ngāti Kahu, ki te marae a te kōpua. I te whakaro nui ki a rātou i takoto ana aneni wai, ko ia te tua, te whae keke te makau, a Shane, I mihi atu ki a rātou mai i a mātou ki tēnei whare. Hā ki roto, hā ki waho, kia tautu Māori e kōkiri nei, I ngā piki me ngā heke, ko te rangi Māori e saku I rapu nei. Tihei, Māori ora. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Dale, thank you. So, moving on to just my opening comments. Technically, this is our first regular council meeting for the year, but it feels like we've been back for months. So anyway, welcome back formally to our regular meetings for council. I know, it feels so strange, but anyway, there you have it. Look, that being the case, I'd like to take the opportunity to formally acknowledge the passing of Haupai Puki. She's obviously an extremely active member of Ngāwi Tōpō Waipa and the Iwi Consultative Committee here at Council, as well as being extremely active in her marae and in the heritage and environment spaces in Pirongia districts. So she'll be sorely missed. I'm sure that Claire I know you would have loved to have gone to her tangi had you been available. Dale Marie, did you go? You did? Aye. Okay, so just acknowledge her passing. So look, the other thing that I just wanted to comment on was that obviously we've got a huge year ahead of us, coming to grips with this new coalition government's reforms, navigating our way through a testing financial landscape, along with farewelling Gary and the subsequent appointment of a new CE for our organisation. So all of that on top of our pretty weighty burden, as always, of making decisions for the betterment of our communities. So I guess hope you've all got your energetic shoes on and your enthusiasm to tackle that head on, and with good humour, as we should always. So look, there's never a dull moment around here, and certainly 2024 is going to make sure that we are kept on our toes. So with that said, let's move on to our agenda. Apologies, I have apologies for lateness from Deputy Mayor Liz. I'll move that from the chair. Andrew will second that. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. And then disclosures of members' interests. I'm not aware of there being any obvious conflicts in this agenda for anybody. No, so that's good. And late items, likewise, I'm not aware of there being any. Just having a look around, nobody has anything to raise. That's fantastic. Confirmation of the order of the meeting. Lou, you're comfortable with moving that? Claire will second that. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against, carried. So then we move on to the confirmation of minutes. Obviously, there are three sets. They're the 12th, 21st and the 7th of February. The 12th and the 21st of December minutes were pre-circulated. Claire, thank you for picking up a small amendment. I've made this Claire aware of that, so that will be noted. And obviously the last set weren't pre-circulated, but we have recommendations to deal with each of those separately. So can I have somebody move for me that the 12th of November is correct? Claire will, Roger will second. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Then the same again for the minutes in respect of our 21 December meeting. Roger, you will move that. Andrew, you will second it. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against, carried. And then the last one, the 7th of February, just making sure that everybody was at those ones so that you can move them. Yep, we were all there. Mike will and Bruce will second. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Moving on then to tab 9 of our agenda, although I understand, let me know if anybody's having problems with their agenda documents. I know that Diligent's been a bit dicky, so give me a holler if you want me to slow down or something while you find your place. But I'm on tab 9, documents signed under seal and delegated. So I will pass this one over to you, Gary, to talk to.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. So a raft of warrants for staff who hold regulatory positions, but there was an infrastructure works agreement that Mayor Susan and I discussed. It arrived during that period where the council was shut down, and so this was an infrastructure works agreement for $1.4 million, and it was part of the Porter development at Chinaman's Hill. And the nub of that agreement was for Porters to do the remediation of the ponds that you remember that we had a breakage of those ponds last year. So the work in repairing those ponds is now 80% complete. And the remainder, as I understand it, will be complete by the time the winter hits us this year.
Thanks for that, Gary. Any questions? Claire, you're going to move that recommendation and Marcus will second it. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Thanks for that, Gary. So our next substantive item is an update on council delegations. And before anybody says anything, it's not St. Patrick's Day and we did not circulate a memo saying, but let's both wear green jackets today. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good morning, everybody. So the purpose of my report is to seek a council approval for 2 updates to council delegations. I'll take the report as read, but just provide a brief overview. The first update is to increase the Chief Executive's financial delegations to approve expenditure of up to $2 million where it's budgeted. That's an increase from $1 million. And that's to account for the fact that the $1 million limit has been in place for over 10 years now. And so given inflation and increase in contract price, it's thought more efficient to increase that limit. And the other change is to give the Chief Executive authority to approve exemptions to Section 17A reviews. That just provides clarification that the Chief Executive has that power, but the authority to approve the outcome of Section 17A reviews still rests at council level. I'm very happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Diana. Claire.
Yeah, thanks. They're pretty straightforward alterations, but I did query including gifts in the delegations to the Chief Executive of up to $2 million. So that's, I'm looking at page 28 of our agenda, or page 2. Yeah, at the moment. Yeah, so that's on the end of line 3 of that top italic description of the delegation. Yeah, so the Chief Executive can commit council to, yeah, getting a gift up to $2 million. Yeah, and I just wonder why it's in there, because I would have thought any gift of a large sum, even over $1,000, would be something that would be discussed by council. That's all.
Absolutely, Gary.
Yeah, very happy with that amendment. In fact, a gift of that magnitude is probably more likely to be a liability. So, absolutely.
It's not a sort of parting gift for a Chief Executive or anything.
Good call.
Yeah, thanks for that, Claire. Any other observations or questions for Diana? No, great. Okay, so let's just have a look there. We have the a recommendation there appearing on page 27 to receive the report and amend the delegations pursuant to B1 and 2. So are we going to put into that subject to a change? Joe, is Joe around there? We're going to, because the current wording, am I assuming, says includes the gifts. Go with me? Yes. Okay.
So, through your worship, Joe, we could add at the end, because it says subject to all other existing conditions applying to such delegated authority, put in brackets excluding gifts, reference to gifts.
Does that create a headache in the future though, if Gary does want to buy a gift of any dollar value that he's got to get, then seek approval from council?
I think Gary's clarification probably needs to be made here. It relates to gifts to council as
So,
well.
yes, these are, and often folks will bequest property to the council because they see that it might fulfil a social purpose, such as the provision of pensioner housing or to advance heritage, those sorts of things. Yeah.
Claire?
Yeah, so just on that, like, I was reading that and I thought that it's where the chief executive is committing council to financial transactions. So I thought that would be an expenditure rather than a receipt. Yeah, that's why I thought, oh, hold on, is that okay?
Yeah,
So you're saying that there might be the occasion where the financial transaction being committed to is the acceptance of the gift.
Inevitably, if you accept an asset on behalf of council, then you're up for, funding depreciation and maintenance and those sorts of things. So it will commit the council to expenditure, once you receive an asset into the organisation.
So with that clarification made, if we look at the amended resolution, the B1 says now Chief Executive Authority to commit council to a budgeted capital of operational expenditure of up to 2 million rather than 1 million, subject to report of the exercise of its delegation being submitted to council for contracts over 1 million rather than 500,000, and otherwise subject to all other existing conditions applying to such delegated authority, excluding gifts. Excluding reference, whoops, to gifts. Are you comfortable with that, Claire? Excellent. So that is our, and then C, obviously the delegations registered to be updated accordingly. So we're happy with that? You're happy to move that now, Claire? Can somebody second that for me? Marcus will second that. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Thanks very much, Dana. Nice jacket. Okay, moving on to our next item, which is one of Jenny's. She's floating around. There she is. Morning, Jenny's procurement approach for independent chair of the Audit and Risk Committee. The report there is appearing at page 31. The floor is yours.
Terms of reference for ARC have been updated to allow for an extra member to be appointed. The quorum has been increased by 1 to 4, and the wording has been tidied to confirm that the Mayor appoints the committee members and chair. There has been some interest expressed already with contacts made to Ken. These people will receive the information at the same time as the role is advertised. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks very much, Jenny. Lou.
Yeah, I'm very supportive of this, Jenny, and this particular piece of note. This is good policy, okay, and it's normal in any directors, that you have an automatic rotation. The great thing is that we're allowing our prospective chair to have a year's grace to learn the ropes and everything that are coming through, so they can actually adjudicate and put us on a new track if necessary. So I will support the motion.
Thank you, Lou. Philip.
Yeah, thanks, Madam. Thanks, Your Worship. Thanks for the report. So does the Mayor appoint the new member or chair, or because in here on page 33, if I'm reading it wrong, new independent member is rely on advertising through the Institution of Directors.
Yeah, so there'll be a selection process, and Ken, Bruce and Ms Susan will do the interviewing, but the final decision and the appointment, the formal appointment to the committee is the Mayor's delegation.
But the person that they'll be advertising nationwide, are you? Or?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions for Jenny? No, no questions. Lou, seeing as you're supportive of this, are you happy to move it for me? And Philip, you will second it? I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Fantastic. Thanks, Jenny. Moving then to our next item, which is the appointment of Civil Defence Emergency Management Recovery Manager. And this is Wayne's report to address. Good morning, Wayne. Nice to see you. And Sally, not surprisingly enough.
Oh, tēnā koutou katoa. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to endorse this report. It's appointment of the Civil Defence Emergency Management Recovery Manager. The purpose is to seek your endorsement of the appointment made by the Waikato Civil Defence Emergency Management Joint Committee of Waipawa District Council's Group Manager, Customer and Community Services, Sally Sheedy, sitting next to me, in the role of Recovery Manager for the Waipawa District Council. I'll take the report as read, but there are some key points I just want to highlight. This is a key statutory appointment for the Council under the Civil Defence Emergency Management Act, together with the local controller appointments. Sally has been endorsed by our Chief Executive and as myself as the KEG representative on behalf of the Council as the appointment for Recovery Manager. Sally's completed an interview process with the Group Recovery Manager, Emergency Services representatives, and Chuck Davies in terms of an iwi representative. Sally's also completed the training with the Response and Recovery Leadership Development Program in 2023 and was awarded this certificate in August 2023. It's been through the subcommittee at the group office in terms of the statutory appointment process, and that's been endorsed, and then following on from there to the joint committee, and of course Lou Brown are representatives on that joint committee, and they've approved the appointment on 11th of September 2023. So we're now seeking the council's endorsement of the joint committee's decision. So I'm very happy to endorse that decision of the joint committee, and the recommendation in the report is that you receive the report and you endorse the joint committee's decision. So Sally, I'm sure you want to say anything in relation to your appointment.
If I can, through the Mayor, obviously this identifies a start of a process for us in terms of recovery planning across the district and working closely in terms of my learning, but also looking to support our district to be as prepared as we can if anything eventuates. So look forward to the journey I've been on and the journey ahead in this role.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne, and thank you, Sally, and congratulations. I have comments or questions from Philip, Liz and Lou.
Thanks, Your Worship, and thanks for the recommendation or your report. So happy to move the recommendation, and well deserved, Sally, and great fit for the role. So well done. Thank you.
Lou?
Yeah, thank you very much. Sally, I want to congratulate you. I actually sat at the joint committee when this was done. And as I say, it's a very important role. And without this having a top recovery manager, we have lack of knowledge of the local area, and you have that knowledge. So that was, to me, a very important role. And I would like to follow up with Philip and actually second the motion of your acceptance. And
Fantastic. Well, we have a mover and a seconder. I'll put the motion. No, I think, no. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you very much. And thank you, Sally. Yeah. Best of luck. Our next item on our agenda is Plan Change 26 Decision Delay Request. And I see we have Peter and Wendy in the house. Oh, and Wayne's staying put. It's like musical chairs. Wendy, Morena, nice to see you.
Morena, kia ora koutou. I'll take the report as read. It but I appreciate that what you're reading is a little bit vague. So what we come for to ask is basically that the new government have indicated that optionality is going to be something that they intend to legislate, optionality around the medium density residential standards, which is what Plan Change 26 is. So this isn't a discussion on the merits of Plan Change 26, it's a procedural matter to request that we write to the minister to ask for more time. I have picked the 25th of, or the 26th or 27th of February, whichever date is in the report, as a arbitrary one-year date. We are unsure if that will be enough time. I haven't drafted a letter because it does need legal input, and we have support from Hamilton City Council to write one together. So that needs to be a letter that is quite detailed and quite technically written in terms of not just asking for more time, but putting into detail why we need more time. And from a staff perspective, it is about ensuring that you as elected members have all of the information in front of you before deciding on Plan Change 26. And appreciating at the moment there are a lot of unknowns. We don't know what optionality means. We don't know when that's coming. So we want to, provide as much before you're asked to make a decision. We don't know, obviously, even if you approve that, we don't know if the minister will say yes. So Peter and I are very busy working on the next stage of Plan Change 26 and the date of the 31st of March, just in case. So open to questions.
Thank you, Wendy. Roger, then Marcus.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I mean, this is a logical move to make, and my understanding is that the Commissioner is still deciding on his judgment on this plan change. Have we any idea at all when that is expected?
Sorry, yes, I did mean to clarify that. Thank you for asking. So shortly is still so the recommendations from the hearing panel, we're in discussions with them. So I think they are waiting for the outcome of this to understand what their next step should be.
Could the definition of shortly be after March 25? I mean,
No.
I just said 24,
Yes.
how long is it going to be?
So
It's already been a number of months already, hasn't it?
So I believe that they have it and are waiting. I'm actually Peter and I are meeting with the chair 10 a.m. tomorrow to discuss it. So I think they've been waiting to see whether it's of any benefit to council for them to hold on to it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So depending on the outcome as to what, we decide tomorrow.
But even when that decision comes out, we're asking for deferment before we make a judgment on that decision.
So through the chair, the panel will release their recommendations, and then we have to come as staff to council for that to be a decision. So their recommendations only your decision. Yeah.
Thanks, Wendy. Bruce.
Can I just ask a question as a lawyer that's going to support the preparation of this writing to the minister? Is it in-house?
So we've been using Wendy Emling from Thompson's Wake, who's been involved in Plan Change 26, the whole process. Yeah.
Thanks. Sorry, Marcus, you had a question.
I support this as well, but just more of a formatting error for the reports, because we have so many plan changes and stuff, and I've requested it before. Can the header have the Plan Change 26 in brackets, blah, 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 just so it's easy to go, oh yeah, 26 is that one?
Through the chair, absolutely. That's a really good suggestion. I promise to do that for going forward.
Yeah. Thanks for that reminder, Marcus. Any other questions for these clever people?
Further to what Marcus is saying, my assumption is that we refer to this as the 3x3. Is that correct? That's the one we're talking about?
Housing intensification. Look, I'm happy to move those recommendations from the chair, and Bruce will second that. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.
Peter and Wayne, thank you. Next item is property disposal of Tautaroa. Tautaroa, that's right. Let me see. Ken's going to do that in place of Andrew Don. This is on page 59 of our agenda. Morning, Ken.
Yeah, good morning, Your Worship. Good morning, councillors. Actually, I wasn't supposed to be presenting this, but I think we're racing through the agenda. So yeah, Andrew is on his way from Cambridge, I understand. But look, this is, I would hope, a fairly straightforward matter in relation to this Crown property. Actually, the recommendation that's brought this morning is not from officers; it's actually from the Finance and Corporate Committee, because this has already gone through Finance and Corporate Committee and won that committee's support. So look, essentially, this is the start of a process to revoke the reserve status on the land, enabling the land to be sold. The land is reserve land, but has not been used for any sort of any recreational reserved act activity. It's simply been used for grazing for many years. So yeah, certainly not the highest and best use of the land. There is, if this all goes through, obviously, proceeds that should come to council. That will be a matter of negotiation with the Department of Conservation. Potentially either just over $250,000 or just over $500,000, depending on where they land with the percentage. Okay, so Your Worship, that's the recommendation coming through.
Thank you, Ken. Obviously, we dealt with this reasonably recently. Philip?
Yep, thank you. Thanks, Ken. On page 62 of our agenda, I don't know if you can answer the question, but you mentioned whether it was 50% or 100%. It says in here our intention is 100%. What would those proceeds be likely used for? I mean, it says primarily for purchase or management of reserve land. So could it go towards the extension of the cycle track along to Waipuki or something like that? Could it be used for something like that, or as an idea?
Yeah, look, I think through Your Worship, we're at a reasonably early stage of the process, and as I indicated before, there'd have to be some negotiation with DOC. At the time we got to that negotiation, I guess we'd agree what that could be used for, but. Yeah, look, I mean, it is sort of saying there primarily for the purchase or management of reserve land. So so there's certainly plenty of potential. We certainly manage a lot of reserve lands, and of course, with a growing population in Waipa, there is always need to purchase some reserve lands as well. So I'm sure we'll be able to find a suitable purpose to negotiate with DOC on.
So did DOC we don't have to negotiate with them on how we spend the money. We only negotiate with them about whether it's 50% or 100%. Proceeds.
Yeah, look, so through the mayor, my understanding is that we would have to we negotiate in terms of the percentage share of the proceeds, but in doing that, I guess we would have to be indicating what kind of purpose we'd be spending those proceeds on, and that would influence probably their decision in terms of the range of the percentage share.
Probably quite a lengthy process, but happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Philip. Kia ora, Dale.
Yeah, just a comment. Tēnā koe, Chair. Kia ora, Ken. Just making sure that due diligence is done with the area around that. Just looking at that timeline, again, where, it just gets a title in 1905 and then there's no record of it behind it. So, as I have to, in this role, always make sure that iwi, with due diligence that we're doing, that they are Ngāti Hauā are included in the conversation.
Yes. So through Her Worship, there's certainly a process we need to work through. As I indicated, this is very much the first step of the process. Getting council's blessing to move ahead with this. But yes, there is a need for consultation in terms of the revocation.
Great, thank you, Ken. So I have Philip moving that. Do I have a seconder? Marcus, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Then moving on to tab 15, which is a resolution to exclude the public. The grounds upon which we are basing that appear on page 72 of our report. There are 4 of them appearing there in the table. I won't read through it, but just highlighting that's the reason why we're moving into public excluded environment. Claire, you're going to move that for me. Andrew, you will second that. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against?